They say true love doesn't need to be shown, but that's a lie, because in the silence of affection, abandonment is born, and in endless giving, contempt takes root. What truly destroys a relationship is not the lack of love, but the lack of strategy in loving. Carl Jung once said it best: "What you deny in yourself controls you from the outside." Welcome to invisible power, the place where the mind is unmasked and the soul learns to protect itself. Here, we don't speak about romance. We speak about psychological power, the emotional alchemy that turns love into respect and respect into desire. Because to love is not to surrender. To love is to understand, and to understand a woman is one of the highest acts of emotional intelligence a man can master. Not because she's a mystery, but because she mirrors what you suppress. She feels when your love comes from dependency. She senses when your affection seeks validation. And though she may say she wants love, what she truly wants is energy, direction and strength. The female psyche doesn't follow rational logic. It flows with emotional resonance. Jung explained it through the concept of the anima, the inner feminine image that lives inside every man. It's that inner woman who teaches him how to love, how to suffer, and how to heal. But when that anima is distorted by pain, ego, or neglect, it's the man loves with. Fear and love driven by fear doesn't conquer. It crawls. Women don't fall in love with the love you give. They fall for the energy you embody. Epictetus knew it centuries ago when he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Because a man without inner control loves with anxiety. And when he loves with anxiety, he transmits neediness. And neediness kills attraction. It kills mystery. It kills power. The art of showing love lies not in expressing everything you feel, sir, but in measuring your emotional energy like a sage who knows the value of silence. Love without structure becomes chaos, and in a woman's mind, chaos breeds insecurity. She doesn't want a man who melts before her beauty. She wants a man who can stand still before her storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Calm is the supreme power of a man who governs his mind." That's what women truly perceive as love, not eternal promises, but presence without anxiety. Loving a woman is like navigating the ocean. If you're ruled by emotion, you drown. If you learn to read the currents, you'll travel far. When Jung spoke of the shadow, he referred to the parts of ourselves we repress, but that still act through us. In love, that shadow reveals itself when we give too much, expect too much, or seek too much. We want to be understood without understanding. We want to be loved without balance. We want to be the priority without being the purpose. A woman feels when your love is insecurity disguised as kindness. She reads the tremor in your tone, the hesitation in your eyes, the need hidden in your smile. Even if she doesn't say it, her subconscious knows. Healthy love isn't emotion, it's organized energy. It's giving without losing yourself, offering without emptying, loving without abandoning your mission. That's what Jung, Machiavelli, and Robert Greene would call emotional power, the mastery of your own affection. Because when a man controls his love, he no longer fears losing it. And when a woman feels you can live without her, she finally feels free to love you fully. The most common mistake men make is confusing attention with connection. They believe love means constant availability, instant replies, total devotion, unending presence. But feminine psychology doesn't feed on physical proximity. It feeds on energetic coherence. When she senses that you could live without her, only then does she begin to imagine her life with you. Seneca once said, "Nothing strengthens love more than distance well understood." That's where true masculine mystery comes from. It's not coldness, it's equilibrium. It's not indifference, and it's emotional command. It's not a game, it's wisdom. So when you ask, when should I show love to a woman? Remember this: show it when she can feel that you don't need to. Only then will your love be admired, not exploited. And as for how to show it, the answer lies in silent presence, in the gaze that transmits calm, not craving, in actions that come from purpose, not fear. Invisible power doesn't teach manipulation. It teaches awakening, the part of you that already knows how to love with power, because love without awareness destroys you. But love with awareness, it transforms you. To understand when and how to show love, you must first understand what truly happens inside the female mind, not the surface-level emotions, but the hidden mechanics of attraction, fear, and connection. Every human being carries what Carl Jung called the shadow, the repressed aspects of personality we refuse to see. In women, this shadow often hides her need for stability, admiration, and control. In men, it hides his hunger for validation, his desire to be seen as enough. When two shadows meet, love becomes a battlefield of invisible needs. A woman might test you not to destroy you, but to verify your emotional gravity. She wants to know, can you stay grounded while I spin around you? That's why she pushes boundaries, not because she's cruel, but because she wants to feel safe in your strength. Psychologists like Robert Greene and Kevin Dutton describe this as power calibration. When someone perceives uncertainty in your energy, they test it. It's not malice, it's instinct. In nature, even the lioness provokes the lion before surrendering her trust, because the female psyche is designed to detect weakness, not to judge it, but to understand whether you can protect, lead, and stabilize. Love, therefore, is not a feeling. It's a psychological negotiation between two unconscious systems. Let's break it down. When you express too much emotion too soon, her limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for safety and threat, reads it as instability. She doesn't consciously think, he's weak. She simply feels that something is off, because energy that is uncontrolled equals uncertainty, and uncertainty equals danger. In contrast, when your affection flows calmly, measured and patient, she interprets it as strength. You become predictable in presence, but mysterious in purpose. That balance is magnetic. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, wrote, "Appear calm when you move, and still when you act, so that your presence confuses the enemy and seduces the wise." Love works the same way. Your calm becomes her addiction. Your silence becomes her curiosity. Your absence becomes her reflection. Dark psychology calls this emotional pacing, the art of controlling the rhythm of connection. Most people rush to fill silence. The powerful ones let silence do the work, because silence, when intentional, becomes the most seductive form of dominance. Let's go deeper. A toxic person, male or female, doesn't destroy you by insulting you. They destroy you by mirroring your unmet needs. They act kind when you crave affection. They act distant when you crave reassurance. They sense the emotional hole inside you and dance around it. That's why the first rule of emotional power is this: never reveal your hunger. The moment you express dependency, the game ends, because dependency is currency in the economy of manipulation. But here's the paradox. Love requires vulnerability, so the secret isn't to close yourself. The secret is to offer your heart from a position of fullness, not emptiness. To say I love you without meaning I need you. That's what Jung called individuation, becoming whole by integrating both your masculine and feminine energies. When a man becomes whole, he stops seeking a woman to complete him. He seeks a woman to expand him. And that's the difference between attachment and love. Let's use named Daniel. He meets a woman who fascinates him. Intelligent, mysterious, emotionally intense. At first, she admires his calm. He listens. He doesn't chase, he radiates certainty. But after a few weeks, Daniel starts craving more attention. He texts first every morning. He asks if she's okay when she doesn't reply. He starts giving more than she asked for, and slowly, her interest fades. Why? Because she stopped feeling his center. His love became fear in disguise. Women don't lose interest in the man who gives them love. They lose interest in the man who loses himself while giving it. Jung would call this the collapse of the self into the other. You stop being the subject of your life and become a satellite orbiting someone else's emotions, and that orbit always ends in emotional exhaustion. So how do you identify toxic dynamics before they destroy your peace? 1. Notice the speed. Toxic love moves fast. Intense confessions, early promises, emotional highs. Healthy love moves with rhythm, not urgency. Watch for role reversals. If you're always explaining yourself, defending, or trying to prove your worth, you've entered a power imbalance. Real love doesn't demand proof. It invites authenticity. Observe your own energy. Do you feel anxious or grounded around them? The body never lies. Anxiety is the signal that your intuition feels unsafe. Dark psychology doesn't mean cruelty. It means awareness, understanding the invisible games people play, consciously or unconsciously. It's the science of defense in a world that rewards manipulation. To master this, you must learn what Robert Cialdini called reciprocal control. Give but control the pace of giving. Open but set energetic boundaries. Listen but never lose your voice, because love without strategy becomes submission, and submission without awareness becomes self-destruction. The difference between a lover and a fool is timing. A lover knows when to give and when to withdraw. A fool gives everything at once, not out of love, but out of fear of losing it. So when she says, "I need space," give it to her with the confidence of a man who knows his worth doesn't shrink with distance. That's not detachment. It's sovereignty. Invisible. Power exists to awaken that sovereignty within you, the part of your mind that observes before reacting, that feels deeply but moves strategically, that loves intensely yet never abandons itself. Knowledge without embodiment is an illusion. It's easy to speak about psychology, love, or power, but real strength is not in what you say. It's in how you live, in how you hold yourself when the world tests you. You don't master love by reading about it. You master it in the quiet moments, the pause before reacting, the calm after rejection, the decision to remain composed when emotion wants to take control. That's where dark psychology becomes light, when it transforms from manipulation into awareness. The truth is, you can't control anyone without first controlling yourself. Dark psychology in its purest form isn't about deception. It's about understanding the hidden motives that move people and mastering the ones that move you. Before you attempt to understand someone else's mind, you must understand your own. Ask yourself, what part of me still craves validation? What fear makes me chase love? What wound keeps repeating itself through the faces I meet? Because until you make the unconscious conscious, as Jung said, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. The man who controls his emotions controls the rhythm of every interaction. When you are stable inside, people move toward your gravity. When you are grounded, chaos begins to orbit you. Every interaction is an exchange of energy. When you give too much attention, you lose polarity. When you hold your focus, you create tension, and tension is the heartbeat of attraction. Leadership in love is never spoken, it is felt. Your silence, your pauses, your breathing, they communicate far more than words ever could. A man who commands his silence commands her attention. These are not tricks. They are disciplines of self-mastery. You practice them not to impress anyone, but to remember who you are. You wake up each morning and remind yourself, I am enough even when unseen. You look at yourself in the mirror without judgment and meet your own gaze until you recognize the strength behind your eyes. You breathe before you act, before you speak, before you reach out, because every pause is a declaration of sovereignty. Power is not loud. It is calm, deliberate, and silent. To use dark psychology ethically is to use awareness as protection, not as a weapon. It's to understand attraction without becoming its prisoner. A mature mind doesn't suppress emotion, right? It transforms it. When you master emotional pacing, you stop trying to prove love and you begin to radiate it. You stop chasing connection, and connection starts chasing you. A woman doesn't fall in love with affection. She falls in love with the safety that a calm man creates. That's why detachment is not coldness, it's confidence. It's the art of loving deeply without losing direction. Robert Greene said that the person who cannot control their emotions becomes their own worst enemy. So when she withdraws, you breathe. When she tests you, you smile. When she doubts, you stay consistent, because your reaction defines the story more than her words ever will. This is how you turn every emotional storm into proof of your stillness. You no longer fear rejection, you study it. You no longer chase and you attract. You no longer react, you respond. Love stops being chaos and becomes discipline, and when she feels that difference and that quiet, powerful energy that doesn't need to prove itself, her defenses begin to fall. Her nervous system relaxes, because your stillness speaks a language older than words. I am safe within myself. That is what every woman truly wants to feel. Not constant attention, not endless promises, but a presence that holds its own shape even in the silence. If you feel this message resonate within you, then listen closely. This is not a game. It's not about manipulation or control. It's about awakening the part of you that moves with strategy and feels with awareness. That balance between emotion and reason is where true power is born. This is what it means to love consciously, to lead with peace, to live as a man who no longer begs to be chosen because he has already chosen himself. Real love begins when you no longer seek to complete anyone and instead begin to expand together. That is the transformation. That is the invisible power. When a man finally learns to love without fear, everything changes. He no longer confuses affection with surrender, nor silence with absence. He begins to understand that the essence of love is not possession but presence, a presence so grounded that it allows the other person to breathe freely. That's the paradox of real connection. The less you try to hold on, the more the bond deepens. A woman can sense when a man loves her from fullness, not from emptiness. His energy feels different, and it doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't demand, it simply exists, steady and alive. That's when she starts to feel drawn to him, not because of what he gives, but because of who he becomes in her presence. And when that happens, love stops being a transaction and turns into transformation. Every relationship you have ever lived has been a mirror. Some showed you your strength, others revealed your wounds, but all of them were lessons designed to awaken your awareness. There are no coincidences in attraction. There are only reflections of your current level of consciousness. That's why when you evolve internally, your external world rearranges itself. People who resonated with your pain disappear. People who match your peace arrive. Controlling the other person, it's about mastering your inner dialogue. The words you tell yourself every day are the blueprint of your behavior. If you wake up thinking you are not enough, every action will come from a place of fear. If you wake up knowing that you are complete, every gesture becomes magnetic. The mind always obeys the image you hold of yourself. That's why your first task is to change the way you see your own worth. When you speak, speak slowly. When you listen, listen deeply. Every moment of stillness becomes a statement of confidence. Women don't fall for the loudest man in the room. They fall for the one whose silence feels safe, because safety is the foundation of attraction. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Do not rush love. Do not chase connection. Let things unfold naturally. Life always brings you what matches your vibration. If you remain aligned with calm, people who thrive on chaos will drift away. If you remain focused on growth, you will attract souls who want to rise with you. Love at its highest level is not about filling gaps. It's about expanding consciousness together. Every time you hold your composure when someone tries to provoke you, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence instead of reaction, you take back your energy. That is how power is built. One decision at a time, one boundary at a time. It's not about dominance. It's about awareness. It's about remembering that you don't need to win every argument to maintain your worth. Sometimes, the greatest victory is walking away with your peace intact. Love consciously, observe, without judgment, respond with intention, and remember, emotional mastery is not a destination. It's a daily practice. There will be days when you fail. When you fall back into old patterns, that's normal. Growth is not a straight line. It's a spiral. Each time you rise again with more awareness, you spiral higher. When you finally meet a woman who vibrates at the same level of awareness, love becomes effortless. There are no games, no masks, no battles for control. There is only recognition, a quiet knowing that says, I see you, and I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to grow with you. That's the kind of love that endures. The man who loves like this is no longer ruled by emotion, nor detached from it. He has integrated both his light and his shadow. He can express tenderness without weakness, firmness without aggression, distance without coldness. He has learned the sacred balance between giving and holding back, between presence and mystery. That balance is what makes him unforgettable. So, when you ask yourself how and when to show love to a woman, remember this: show it when your heart is steady, not when it's desperate. Show it when your words come from clarity, not confusion. Show it when you can walk away with peace, not guilt. That is real power, the ability to love fully, without losing yourself. And if you ever forget this truth, return to your silence. Because silence is the language of those who have learned that love is not noise, it's awareness. Love is not possession, it's presence. Love is not the end of your journey. It's the reflection of how far you've come within yourself. That's what invisible power is about. Awakening the part of you that loves consciously, acts deliberately and stands firm in stillness. Because when you master yourself, you stop begging to be chosen. You become